All right, good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. Listen, I'm in my backyard and I live in the city, so you're going to hear planes and helicopters and all of that, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Let's hope. So, I want to talk today about this issue of spiritual neglect, and really, we see something in the Old Testament, in the reign of King Hezekiah, where he addresses this issue head on. And it's actually really amazing. When you look at 2 Chronicles 29, and it talks about when he became king, it says that he was 25 years old. This is 29 verse 1. He was 25 years old when he became king. He reigned in Jerusalem for 29 years. Okay, verse 2 says, he did what was right. In the first year of his reign, in the first month, he opened the doors of the Lord's temple and repaired them. So literally the first thing he did, right? It says in the first year of his reign. That doesn't mean after a year, because you don't say, oh, in the 0 year of his reign. No, at the very beginning, he first goes to the temple and he opens it up. And he was completely correct in addressing this issue first. When you look at this, like the life of Hezekiah, when you look at Nehemiah, if you read Nehemiah, same thing. Here's two guys that basically tackled a major issue, and they began addressing the spiritual problem, right? Every time I've taught through the book of Nehemiah, I always say, look, here's one thing that you have to learn from Nehemiah. First things first. You have to do the first things first. And the first thing he does is he's praying. Okay? Well, Hezekiah here goes in and he addresses the issue with the temple. Now, he basically makes it clear why he does this. He says, verse 8, he says, therefore the wrath of the Lord was on Judah and Jerusalem, and he made them an object of terror, horror, and mockery, as you see with our own eyes. He understood. He was watching the decline of his nation, and he understood that they were under God's wrath because they were neglecting the temple. They were neglecting their relationship with God. They were going after all of these false idols and basically doing the very exact thing that God told them not to do. And, I guess this is why this is so relevant right now, is because we are doing that. Like, this is happening in wholesale fashion in the United States, in most countries in the world. You see just embracing of wickedness, of pursuing the exact things God said, don't do them. People are doing them, and they're being legislated. It's getting so bad. But understand what's happening here, because I think we have to remind ourselves of this. I don't personally have the power, right, to fix the problem of the United States. And I know you don't have the power. But the first things first, we also can't be people that allow the junk and the clutter to build up in our spiritual house. And when I say that, when he goes in there to clean up this mess, literally that's what he does. It says in verse 5 in 2 Chronicles 29, he's talking to the priests and Levites, and he says, hear me, Levites, consecrate yourselves and consecrate the temple of the Lord, the God of your ancestors. Remove everything impure from the holy place. So this is where he begins. A cleansing, right? Removing all of this impurity, all of this wickedness and filthiness, all of the junk. Literally, they just threw junk in there, and then they shut the doors to the place, and they left it there. And this is a big, big deal. We do not have the ability to just fix everything that's going sideways in our country, but we do have the ability to clean the junk out of our own house, right? And I think this is more important than often people realize. We have to clean out the garbage. We have to be people that are purging out evil and purging out forsaking sin and getting away from that, that's what we can do. And you might say to yourself, well, how is that going to change what's going on in the world? Listen, it will. It may not seem like it, but it's going to have an effect. Because once godly people, once believers start walking with the Lord, living a holy life before God, and walking in purity and righteousness, okay, that is one of the things that shows the world around us that they're missing the boat. It's like, honestly, it's not about being a preachy, irritating Christian. It's about walking the walk and talking the talk. And then when you live that life before the world, they see the righteousness, it makes them hungry for it. People want to be influenced in righteousness. It's by design, by God's design. And this is the path forward, okay? It's the only path forward, honestly, at this point, because I think our country is gone. There's not going to be righteous leaders again. That's my guess. And even the ones that at times we have thought were righteous, turns out that's not the case, right? But we can live a righteous life. We can affect the lives of people around us by actually doing it. Okay, actually doing the work of a Christian. And the first work of a Christian is being in fellowship with God and being close to Him. Okay, loving the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength. That's the first work. And then the second work is allowing that to be seen and allowing it to be heard when you explain to people, yeah, the reason, the reason this happened or that happened is because I was trusting the Lord. Okay, and then one by one, lives start getting changed. I don't know if you've ever seen the thing, but it's an ample or a very good example of us when somebody says, if one believer in 1 year makes one convert, basically shares the gospel with one person over the course of a year, and that person gets saved. And then the next year, those two people do it. Just one person. As it grows, we're talking about this multiplication. It multiplies, it multiplies, it multiplies. It's a short amount of time until it has affected the entire population of the earth. But if we're neglecting the core issues of our life and our righteousness and our walk with the Lord, we're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be affecting the world around us. We're going to be idle and we're going to be stuck. So I hope that ministers to you today. May the Lord, sorry about that. May the Lord richly bless you. And please, if this ministered to you, take a minute to leave me a comment, like and subscribe as usual, and I'll see you again tomorrow.